Hello, everybody. It was a very good session for the stock market today, but once again, we just can't close strong for the life of us, can we? I mean, is that just too much to ask to get a big? It's hard to hit escape velocity when you don't close at the high day, but maybe it's good for an overall slower uptrend, and that's going to be fine with me. To be honest with you, I guess I'm probably just a little upset over DRRX. If you don't know what DRRX is doing, I had an ad signal here, which is this is the most glorious, beautiful kind of chart you're going to get. If the only thing that could be better is if the base was longer. Breakout was great. Unfortunately, it's a bit much of a one day, but still, I was just reviewing old past big winners, and I was looking to see if they gapped up because I used market orders a lot back then, but I wanted to see even if they gapped up. They didn't do the kind of shit that they do nowadays, and once again, DRX didn't even come close. So even if I would have done it at the high day at 211, it still touched 212. And if you think that if I'd had an order at 212 would have gotten filled, you're wrong. So I think it started to trade like around basically most of the orders were like 215 and higher that day. But damn it, the stock was up 17% today. So yeah, I'm a little butthurt as my ad didn't get hit. And whenever we did get our long position established back here, I was already fully invested and on heavy margin in one of the accounts. So couldn't get much of it. Very, very small position. In fact, I think it was like 0.33% of my cash account. So this isn't much, but this ad signal, this is the kind of signal that back in the day, right here, right there, I'm loading up. And I mean 20% of my account value, 10% of my account value. It's going to be a big single position. And of course, it's worked this time, but damn it. My limits at 206 and 2 are now canceled, and I'm moving on. But overall, for the market, continues to trend strongly higher. Nasdaq higher today on higher volume. S&P 500 New York Stock Exchange higher today on higher volume. Dow Jones Industrial Average slightly higher today. It's kind of the weakest of the session, but I don't mind that. All the oscillators are trending. Dow Jones remains under a neutral condition. The New York Stock Exchange is back to a buy condition. The Nasdaq 100 is back to a buy condition, but I mean, it's, you know what? I know it's not. It's not. I'm not going to let it. I was going to let, I can't. I just can't. So it's going to remain under neutral condition despite the higher volume. That inability to close the high day, and I didn't realize that the Nasdaq 100 was that far off the high day, and it's still below the overall upper trend line. So if we can't close the high day, let's say we don't have the intraday range and we go out 4477.07 at the high of the days, then we can switch back to buy condition. Bottom line is we're already fully invested, so it doesn't matter. The Russell 2000 is also inches away from being back under a buy condition. Its oscillators are not confirming the current price move. So it'll be nice if it can do that. But overall, the market's fine. It's just not great. I don't feel good about it. And I've been shaken out of so many stocks that are now moving higher, like CST, CMGE, GSM, and BJRI, that it's just annoying as shit here. And that's what you get when you don't get a market that closes strong. You get shaken out and all that. I don't get filled on my limits, REGN, DRRX. It's just a constant nightmare, basically. And then, VLTC, when it does work, you don't load up on it. So what are you going to do? And then you have this shit that does happen. And I was more than willing to, accept that this was a possibility with this stock, SYNT. I knew no matter what, it would not gap down below 46.25. Wow, I was wrong because it traded below 46.25. I would have no way in hell thought that level would have been in play. And where it opened was a big hit, and in fact, it's the first four-digit loss in my account value. It's about 0.25% of my account value was hit today in this loss in this position because it was a bigger than normal position because it gave me an ad signal even, and I risked it knowing that it was a very risky trade. Made constant mention of that, but SYNT is a pure failure now. If you're getting out the end of the day, you're doing much better, and in fact, it wouldn't have been a four-digit loss for me. But as it is, first $1,000 plus loss, I believe, of 2015. I have not had one yet, and it's only 0.25% of the account value, so not hurting too much, but still the bottom line is it's kind of upsetting overall. MSG, another stock I didn't get a fill on, but it is closing below the low a day of the 14th. So if you are long, that's a 50% long signal, confirming its loss of the green BOP2. And TILE, Once again, another stock that I believe I got fully taken out of it. So I believe that what I did on this day was I went long TILE. And intraday, I put my sell stop at 1983, and it hit 1979, thus fully selling me out of tile and making me feel like a goddamn jackass. But since then, it hasn't really done much, and closing below 20-day moving average on heavy volume, losing that strong green. It's starting to trend lower in the BOP, so it is a 50% sell also. We have some long positions, but like I said, I'm fully invested basically, so I won't be able to put the full amount of what I am advocating. Monster Energy Drink had a pocket pivot point signal a few days ago, but hasn't really closed strong since. With it closing higher above where it opened, I'm very happy that Monster is now confirming that pocket pivot point signal. So MNST is a 5% long signal because it's CanSlim and perfect speculator scan quality. We don't risk much if we are wrong. COLM is a little bit riskier because this breakout's from kind of a short base, but COLM is a CanSlim quality stock and a pre-perfect speculator quality stock. My only problem is now that we got the TSV and MACD up here is that, you know, it's not really being confirmed in the oscillators. So that could be problematic. And FICO, it had earnings after the bell and it's not moving, so I got to see what it's doing in the morning. But FICO is giving a pocket pivot point signal. This is CanSlim quality and pre-perfect speculator scan quality, so you can increase the position. But realize short base, COLM short base, so got to keep those tight stops on those. And then AMAG is a perfect speculator scan quality stock. It is not CanSlim quality, so can't really increase the position, but 2.5% account position for this one. And if you really want to, you know, you're like, well, how come Monsters, CanSlim, perfect speculator, and it gets 5, and Coleman FICO, the pre-perfect speculator, but they also get 5. Okay, well, you can dial it back to 4 if you like then, you know, 2.5%, and then, you know, 1.5% for the long signal instead of 2.5%. But the bottom line is that when you got to become perfect speculator scan stock, got to be pre-perfect speculator. And even though I don't really love AMAG's breakout as a perfect speculator scan, and I don't like the COLM as the combined due to how much it's up in a short period of time, and FICO because of earnings and how short the base is, rules are rules, so, you know, got to invest accordingly. But I would go ahead and probably, I've put it down as 555 for these, but to be honest with you, I'm going to scale it back now that I'm looking at it and go 5 Monster, 4 COLM, 4 FICO, 2.5 still AMAG for being perfect speculator. And then we have 2 long signals for ads, or 2 ad signals for our current long positions, I should say. ANIP is bouncing off 50-day moving average and breaking out to new highs with the pocket pivot point signal. Pocket pivot point signal being a non-CanSlim quality stock. CanSlim quality numbers, but overall, when you go to the year-over-year earnings growth and current quarterly earnings growth, it's not quite there. So it doesn't qualify as a CanSlim stock. So since it's an ad signal, only 1%. And then ATHM, got to get up really close on it so you can see the overall price structure since the March gap up. Giving me an ad signal with a pocket pivot point signal with an increase in BOP, volume, and price surge. I don't know if this one was confirmed in the price volume BOP scan. I don't think it was. I don't think any of these guys were. GATHM. No, none of these guys were. ANIP, AMAG, Monster, COLM. I think just FICO. So just FICO, and that had earnings, so whatever. But ATHM, that is going to be a 2% position. 1% because it's CanSlim quality, 1% because it's perfect speculator scan quality, and then we have 1 speculative trade, ZBB. 1% of the account capital goes into this guy. You know, I like the chart pattern. Got max green bot for 5 days. Yeah, very, very bullish price and volume action since the move started at the end of March. See what happens.